What's going on? This is Magic Mitch, the food adventurer, bringing you another food challenge video. And in this one, oh man, I am battling a huge meatball sub sandwich challenge at a place called Fontano Subs in Chicago, Illinois. Now for this challenge, you have 1 hour to finish the entire 3-foot long meatball sandwich. And this thing is loaded with so many meatballs. And each of those bad boys comes in at about a quarter pound. This thing is also layered with all kinds of provolone cheese and a ton more sauce. Now if you're able to complete the challenge, you get the $28 meal for free, which isn't too shabby of a price if I say so myself. But you'll also get a free shirt, your picture up on their wall of fame, and you'll also get a $50 gift card to the restaurant. My strategy for this meatball sub sandwich challenge was pretty simple. Definitely wanted to take out those meatballs first while they were still warm and trying to use some of that sauce to help get them down. Then I'd move on to the bread, which I was also hoping with some time that the sauce would actually soak into the bread, softening it up, making it easier to go down, but it would also require then less use of my drinks, since I did think I would need more room for the food and less use of the liquids during this challenge. Also, as far as the drinks go, I do want to point out that I was using pink lemonade during this challenge, and that just helps cut down with the grease from the meatballs. Now some of you might ask, why not just eat the meatball sandwich as a whole? And my response to that is, I would if I could. Generally speaking with challenges, if I'm eating the food and not breaking it apart piece by piece, I do not only find it tend to be more filling, but I also find it to take more time to chew, as opposed to deconstructing it and eating individual parts piece by piece. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, but overall, I think this is the best way to go about it, at least in my case. Now, something I do want to point out here, and I don't know, this is I guess a bit of a secret strategy or secret tactic, but anyways, it has to do with wiping away the sauce. Now, without getting into too much detail here, I'll just say that even with the restaurant approval, I do not endorse this type of action just because it goes against my sense of, I guess you call it food challenge ethics, which I could talk more about in future videos, but I guess you most likely wouldn't be interested, but you know what? I could be wrong. And if that's the case, it's something I'd definitely love to talk about in future videos if you're interested. And if you are, let me know in the comments down below. Something else I wanted to point out with this particular challenge is it's what I call a preseason challenge. And those are challenges that you take on before a main tour, sort of like warm-up matches, because I was getting ready to battle a whole slew of food challenge monstrosities across the pond into the UK and throughout Europe. But as far as preseason challenges go, I'll be honest, this was a bit aggressive because while I did do some capacity training to prepare, I wasn't in peak condition. Ideally for a challenge of this size, I try to do a few smaller challenges and work my way up just to build my capacity and my confidence as well, but I think with all the traveling and everything, it just didn't work out that way, so facing off against this huge meatball sandwich was certainly an uphill battle. But regardless of that, I do like this challenge a lot and how it's set up, which is why I'm giving it a thumbs up. Now first of all, I do have to mention this is a huge challenge, coming in at about 7 pounds. You definitely need to be ready, especially with so much of that weight coming from the meatballs. The 1 hour time limit to this challenge is a bit nice as opposed to say 45 minutes, which I actually could see a challenge of this caliber still being. And it's also nice to see that additional prize along with the gold standard for completing this food challenge, which if you don't know, the gold standard for a food challenge completion is the free meal, the free shirt, and your picture up on their wall of fame. So the gift card is a nice added bonus, so you can come back for more food adventures and, if you want, take a little bit more time to enjoy them. And for the taste, again, I'm giving this one a thumbs up. The meatballs, they tasted pretty great, had a lot of flavor, but I will say about halfway through this challenge, the meatballs were starting to get a little old, which is somewhat expected just because I was experiencing flavor fatigue at that point. As for the bread, it was fine, had not much to say about it other than it was a little hard to chew. As for the cheese, I actually wasn't a fan of it, not because of how it tasted, but because of the fact for this challenge you couldn't have it melted onto the sandwich, which, if I remember right, was actually one of the stipulations for this challenge. Then for the sauce, much like the meatballs, I enjoyed it. I thought it had decent flavor, but because of the flavor fatigue setting in halfway through the challenge, it was getting a little old. And here is where things start to get a little grim, folks. And just to be clear, I definitely was not as prepared for this particular battle as I had hoped, but something to keep in mind here is I didn't want to exert myself and my magical food fighting abilities just for a losing cause, especially since this upcoming trip was going to be much longer than the East Coast and Canada tour, which was about 20 challenges, because for this upcoming trip, I was looking to do 30 to 40 food challenges over a 70-day or so period. Now this isn't the most flattering thing, but I did decide to throw in the towel and call it quits early on this challenge. But you know what? At the end of the day, being more honest and transparent about my food adventures is something I do want to showcase more with my videos. And if you're down with that, be sure to leave a little magic of your own by liking the video, and be sure to subscribe or like the page so you never miss a single food adventure video, and I'll see you in the next one.